for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride. I know man passing by, life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself. Oh, I feel so alive. As I reach out, reach out, reach out, reach out to the sky. I found my way, I found my way. I was in the dark, against it all, but made it through the day. Cause I found my way, I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay. Cause I found my way. Cause I found my way. Cause I found my way, my way, my way. Found my way, my way. Cause I found my way, my way, my way. Found my way, my way. I found my way, I found my way. I was in the dark, against it all, but made it through the day. Cause I found my way, I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay. Cause I found my way. Cause I found my way. Cause I found my way, my way, my way. Found my way, my way. Cause I found my way, my way, my way. Found my way, my way. I found my way, I found my way. I was in the dark, against it all, but made it through the day. Cause I found my way, I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay. Cause I found my way.
Time for another Power Play show with Coach Frenchy, Andrew Lepage, ENORTAP, and Michael DeVilleno. It's time, Power Play show. And we are back for another special edition of the Let's Talk HABS on the Saturday night, August 13. We have two insiders of the Power Play show. Mr. MARKO LARABIE from Ottawa back in the house tonight. And from Ontario, of course, Toronto, Mr. ENORTAP. Welcome back, both of you, tonight on the Let's Talk HABS.
Saturday night.
It's all about the dream team. We're going to select each position, and of course the head coach, assistant coach, and the general manager, and maybe the water boy. We'll see what's happening, and maybe the usher behind the bench in 1973. The little Chinese, but that's another story for another time. But until then, we welcome everybody. Thanks to be a part of the show. And starting before we welcome everybody, why not to ask MARKO and ENORTAP, how was your weekend so far?
Pretty good. Just finished watching that Canada game. You know, I after a while, these blowouts seem to be not as fun to watch. It's still great. Like the first period was pretty close. But yeah, good game. Some nice goals. We had another Michigan tonight, so that was kind of cool to see. But yeah, good weekend. Nice weather here in Ottawa. So life. How about you, ENORTAP?
Yeah, same. I started watching the Canada game, and then I was kind of pulled by the Toronto Blue Jay game, which was very exciting. They won 2 to
Yeah,
1
nice,
late in the
nice.
game, so we're all happy here.
Baseball. You talk
Yeah.
about baseball?
Yeah, there's tennis
right.
too. Good tennis this weekend too.
Good
Tennis on
tennis,
Canadian soil. Good sports weekend.
It's a great sport of weekend where we have in Canada with baseball and hockey, and then you have the tennis
CFL.
right now. So you have a lot of sport in different province, everything like that. So I think it's pretty good to be a Canadian. And August, if you bored, you can watching some sport on the TV, whatever you are watching your channel. But tonight we'll talk about the dream team for the Montreal Canadiens. I think it's another great opportunity to talk about them tonight. And we have, honestly, on the off season, maybe at the end, talking a bit the performance of some players at the World Junior Championship, like Arroy or other players. And then Frederick Show is doing amazingly great in Sweden right now during the exhibition game over there. Another great performance of him today. And it's my wild card, Frederick Show, in the next 2 years. I think it's someone we have to follow up for the next couple of months for sure.
What's the right pronunciation for that guy? Is it? I want it to be Dichow, but I think is it Dichow or is it Dichow?
It's fun pronunciation. You never follow me to get the best pronunciation about players, but for me it's Dichow. It's easier. Dichow is going to be more Japanese, and then I think I'm going to lose his mind. But Dichow, that'd be more French in Montreal. So we'll see. We're going to get the one. We're going to call him Freddy because he's a Frederick. But that's a subject for that. And talking about welcome everybody. We're not talking about Jimmy, Vinny, James. I'm going to put this down right now. Mr. James Bond is back in the house tonight.
James Bond.
007.
The captain back in the house. The moderator of the Hockey National Show. We welcome Mr. Danny T back.
Danny the police.
And the Wood, number one friend of Buffalo Sabres, Mr. Alexandre Dubois back in the house tonight.
Alexander.
Mayday, Mayday.
It's fun because, we have more people in the as a subscriber, everything like that, and they have different team now. And the past was about 6-7 team, and that's it. Now we have like many more teams. Alexandre is really the one with Buffalo Sabres. So it's fun to see that. Joseph is the New Jersey Devils, and that can go all the way. But it's fun to have a versatility of the different players, people, lots of different team. And talk about another team, the Los Angeles Kings with Run with Kings, number 20, back in the house tonight from Utah.
Hey, Run.
And from Sweden, Jerry, welcome back, Mr. Jerry from Sweden.
Welcome, Jerry.
Team Sweden was off today, and they won yesterday by a score 6-0 against Austria. Possible they get a medal, I don't think so. I think they are really the team could make it. The bronze for me. I think still believe Canada, USA number 1 and 2. For what the game I saw so far, and then Finland and Sweden.
Maybe, probably.
I think that would be the 4th team at this moment. I can see about that one there. It's time for the fun fact. The NHL has 5 sets of twin, 3 Sweden, 1 Canada, 1 USA. The Sweden are not the first one, just the most famous and successful twin in the NHL. Thanks so much, Mr. Ron, always coming with a great fun fact of the day. So that's fun to have him do this. Talking about great people, talking about Mr. William McLaren. Welcome back.
How's it going, William?
And we saw the brother. Now we see the best brother. Talking about Mr. Nooner. Roger. Welcome back.
Hey, Roger.
Nooner.
It's not because we don't love Danny. It's just like we prefer the people talk about our fans from Montreal Canadiens. So it's an advantage over the another brother. Exactly what I'm talking about. That's the reason about this. And we have Mr. Bill Al Abdel Malek. Welcome back. Thanks to be a part of the show. I think it's the first time. If you are, welcome in the Hockey Nation Live Show family. If you are not, welcome back, Mr. Bill. I believe he came one time or two times, but we'll see what's happening about this. That's what already make. I think earlier we see Nicolas de Gauby. Bono dans le baril de Robin de Sherbrooke. And right now, some people are already in, but they don't talk. So we welcome everybody. If you're hiding behind the cat or the dog, get out and push them out and then talking about this. So let's go talk about tonight, the dream. And if you look about the pool so far, the pool is not done yet, but I apologize. Some pool like take the lead at 44%. I don't know if you guys see this in the chat, but that's what we are right now.
Pollock, yeah.
And from that,
it looks like somebody's running away with it pretty good there.
Yeah, so let's get in right away there. And I know it's early, but we're going to try to get out early tonight, so people will be late. That's their problem. You have to show up early. So, we need to be on the right time here. I want to talk about this before we start today. My video is about a more goal, and it's like it looks like this week is more like a more goal, less viewers, but that's not a subject for the time about that. But I'm talking about they did 218 goal, I believe. I can recall it. Goal again, 317 or 220 something. Anyhow, so I tried to show three different aspects if they can improve. That I believe they can score at least 240 to 250. That brings them about 22, 23 ranking in NHL. It's not good enough, but at least that would be a possibility if, I don't know, Dak or Devorak, Gallagher, Drouin, Slavkovsky, and Dadonov, all those 7 players was some because he was not healthy, some because they are rookie, and some they all joined the team. So possible for them to score more goals. So that's inside of that video. And it was not like too much the weekend. We don't have a lot of news anyway with Montreal. Talk about Slavkovsky, the player of the year in Slovakia this week. And then I'm talking about Joshua Roy at the World Junior Championship. That was pretty much what happening. And then tonight, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about the Let's Talk HABS, the dream team, pipe position, but everything. So we build the dream team, the kind of dream we want and the future for the Montreal Canadiens and the past and the present. So what make an impact? And I'm going to try to make some pool during the night, back and forth for each position. And then we're going to invite you to talking about the subject. So don't talk about Guy Lafleur right now. We're not there. So it's all about section. And I will give you an example here. The general manager, what kind of general manager do you would like to get? And that's what we're going to do. And then we mentioned the 5. The insider is going to give them their first impression for each one, who they're looking for. I'm going to be the referee. And if it's too much, I'm going to call Danny. Danny jump in the screen. He will figure out something else with me. I will say, okay, that's all right. So, but that's going to do about this tonight. And then that's about. But before we start, Mr. Everybody, we welcome Mr. Kilo back in the house. Mr. Kilo, thanks for joining us tonight. And we have the Rocket Richard in the house tonight. Maybe he's back in from somewhere. Mr. Salah is in the house tonight. Thanks so much about this one for here. Talk about his impression about Marc Bergevin. I like Bergevin overall, but the real big problem he left us with Drouin, Sergachev, not signed, Gradilov, Gallagher, contract, a price getting too long of his term, everything like that. So talk about a bit about Bergevin. But right now, let's start in with the general manager. Guinea, Pollock, Selke, Savard, Bergevin at different time of their history franchise on Montreal Canadiens. Early. Then you have the middle with many Stanley Cup, and then you have the bottom with the last one before Ken Hughes. The reason we don't talk about Ken Hughes or Jeff is because they've never been yet, only like a couple of months with Montreal, so it's not be nice, fair to put them there. So let's start in with Marco. What do you think about that list?
Yeah, this is a interesting one. I would probably, I have kind of an emotional leaning towards Serge Savard because that's kind of my heyday, like the 86 and the 93 Cups. So I like Serge Savard, and I try to think of this, in the modern game as well too, right? So he's been implicated still with the team. He consulted, with Molson when they chose Bergevin. So I still feel he's somewhat connected with the game, and I think he might still be able to do a good job. But there's something about Sam Pollock, right? Like, just there's so much history there, so much skill. Like, he was a wheeler and dealer, kind of positioning the Habs to get Lafleur and things like that. So I think regardless of the era, Sam Pollock is probably one of the savviest GMs ever, for sure. Like, it's such a different era, right? Because they could choose any. They had almost a monopoly on all the players that they could choose from Quebec. So it's just so different. So it's a tough call for me between Sam Pollock and Serge Savard. I would say that because of my bias, because of the era, I would go Serge Savard.
In our top, if you go with Ariel, you have to go with Frank Selke.
No. Well, that was well put, Marco. I would wholeheartedly agree with your analysis there. My pick, though, would probably be Sammy Pollock. If, like you said, he was a very savvy business person. If you think about it, he was sort of he was put in charge to keep the Canadiens afloat after Frank Selke retired, and so he did a great job, especially in the earlier years. He got some great draft picks. Of course, he masterminded that whole Guy Lafleur first overall pick in 1971, and that really dictated a number of cups for Montreal moving forward, and also cemented their dynasty. And on top of that, I mean, just the number of Stanley Cups that were marched down St. Catherine Street during his tenure is probably unprecedented. So I would
It's
probably
hard though, right? Like, such a smaller league, and again, like, he had full kind of access to all the Quebec players.
True,
I don't know.
true,
How
but
would that
so
translate
did
into today's game,
so did the other GMs by that standard. I know it was smaller, and probably you have to go through less teams, obviously, to get to the cup. But at the end of the day, you still have to do it. And yeah, I would give the slight edge to Sam Pollock.
Sam Pollock for you. We have Serge Savard for Marco. And for me, I go with Sam Pollock too. Everything you in our tab said, I think is really the one make an impact, make a big difference. Honestly, Frank Selke was a really good one, of course. But I think Sam Pollock, the way he managed everything, and on his point, was really not innovation, but he was really in front of every other GM for everything, like pick up the player, set over there, and all of course, the player from Quebec or from Montreal area, that was easy for them. But not only this, for me, is the way he trade. He make a mega trade to make the team better a long term, and some GM was not ready. So I think he took advantage of maybe the lack of experience or for turn around that franchise. But for Sam Pollock, I think Montreal always been a great team when he was under his direction. And for me, it's a GM. The final poll, it was 43 for Sam Pollock. Guys, I just want to mention to you. We're going to jump for the next one. We'll see what we have here. First of all, Stu, have an amazing, great night. You already go in, set likes, and leave the building. We appreciate that. Nicolas, go with Bergevin, Selke, Pollock, Guéné, and Savard for Nicolas. Then Sam Pollock will check off MICHEL to Molson Bill for all the 20 boys. Championship summer will try off us. That's happening about the Rocket Richard finale. The RDP back in the house. The deal, no deal, is in the house tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So let's move on to the next one over there. Assistant GM, Cloutier, Ron Caron, Rick Dudley, Jacques Lemaire, John Zetwick. And I'm going to make that list right now in the chat, you guys, so you can give out. Mr. ENORTAP, start with you.
I didn't really prepare for an assistant GM. But I would, from the list there, I wasn't a big fan of Ron Caron, but see, Claude Ruel, was he just interim? Was he an interim GM?
I think he bounced around.
I'm sorry.
I think he bounced. Right? Like he was a coach for a while, but then he was assistant GM as well.
For a while, okay. I would probably throw my vote that way, although I don't have any real preference. I'll be honest. I know that he was a part of the team in a good part of their history, and so yeah, I'll stick with him.
Awesome. Before you start, Marco, we welcome Miss Kelly in the house with Mark Zuck. No, still in Florida. Mark, leave the 21st. And then we have Terry T back in the house, all three. Thanks so much. And I just pulled a new poll over there on the top. And Mr. Marco.
Yeah, so I think we have... we have a pretty old school GM, right? So we chose Sam Pollock as our GM. So I'm trying to think kind of like Hughes and Gordon, like coming up with a team that has like a chemistry and that kind of complement each other. Because again, we're building a dream team, right? Not just the best of each category. So we want to build a team that's going to work well together. So I would say John Sedgwick, because you need somebody to understand the modern game, salary cap, and he's a salary cap wizard. So yeah, I think I would probably lean towards either him or Rick Dudley is a very underrated. I know a lot of people kind of roll their eyes, but he's got quite a track record in the NHL. So I would say between Dudley and Segwich, but I'll go with Segwich just because I assume that Sam Pollock would be completely lost when it came to the salary cap management side of things in the modern era. So I'm assuming he would lean heavily on a John Sedgwick kind of guy.
We welcome KLS is in the house tonight. Thank you, KLS, to be with us. For me, Claude Ruel was more involved with the players' personnel, everything like that. Eaching the young guests, everything like that. Ron Caron was maybe the most impressive for me with the Montreal Canadiens. Rick Dudley, unfortunately, he did not do exactly what he did in the past as a manager around the league and NHL because he was... that time he was there, yeah, Melimbe, Dudley, and other players, other staff, and I think Marc Bergevin have a difficult time to figure out everything together. So Dudley did not prove or did not show exactly what kind of GM he could be. Was more like an advisor. Jacques Lemaire, honestly, as a personal advisor or special advisor, not too much. John does very well because that area is really the new area where you have to figure out the salary cap. And like you mentioned about this, is really every move they have to do, they have to go through him to explain everything like that. Now he got promoted this year as assistant GM, everything like that. So for me, I have to go with Ron Caron. I think Ronald, and I think one we should put there, but not really, but I think Julien Brisebois was another great person around the Montreal Canadiens area. Yeah. He did not
for sure
did a lot over there, honestly, but I think for me it's like they was good, but they of course they learned so much from the Montreal Canadiens. They become some great GM in the NHL. Ron Caron, he really checked the box, each box of for me. It's a little bit old
Coach
school, but still like Ron Caron.
Was Ron Caron, was he around when? Maybe I'm getting my dates confused, but wasn't he around when that whole Patrick Wald fiasco went down?
I don't think so. I think at that moment he was with the St. Louis Blues.
Oh, okay.
He'd been with the Blues for many. He left.
Oh, maybe it was Ronald Corey. I think I'm.
Yes,
thinking
exactly.
Yeah.
About this one over there, I don't know. They don't call it. They don't give it to me. Ron Caron.
Yeah, I think
Ron
you're
Caron,
right.
like he finished his career with the Blues, right? Like they called him
Yeah.
the Baron.
The prof.
Le Prof.
The
Yeah.
prof, yeah.
So
Yeah, he's a lot of colorful stories about that guy. He was apparently one of the most abusive player guys to like with the referees. Like
Yeah.
he was just crazy with the referees and one of the most entertaining people to see chirp referees. It would have been it's too bad we didn't have live mics back in the 70s. That would have been probably pretty hard to put on TV, but might be some fun clips on YouTube.
on that one, guys, we got I don't know how many vote, 16 vote on that one, and look like Jacques Lemaire following par Rid Dudley, Cloutier, Eric Caron, Ron Caron about that. That's what we got on that one over there.
The big name one.
And then we have Blackhawks Chicago just show up tonight. Welcome aboard, Blackhawks. Let's move on to the next one, guys. The head coach, we have two Blake, Pat Burns, Jacques Demers, Scotty Bowman, and Dickie Irvin. They are the five of this. I'm going to make the poll at some time and then start with Mr. Marco.
This should be a no-brainer. You know, like I think for anybody that didn't watch our show from last night about the greatest coaches of all time, I think it was pretty unanimous that Scotty Bowman was the greatest coach of all time. Hard to skip over that, but again, trying to think of this within a modern context and think about who would perform the best, because you know we're thinking about building a dream team. And so how would Scotty Bowman do in 2022, I wonder? You know, would he have a Me Too moment or something? I don't know, hard to say. So for me, it would be because I think player coaches do well in this era. You know, hopefully if Jacques Demers learned how to read, he would be higher on my list because that would probably become even more important in today's era. But hard to go against Scotty Bowman on this one. I'm pretty sure that will be the consensus pick for this one.
Awesome. ENORTAP.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. It was for me. This was another hard decision. It was between Bowman and Toe Blake, and I mean, obviously, I could speak more towards Scotty Bowman, but a lot of the stories I heard about Toe Blake, and you know, he was really an instrumental coach, you know, behind the Canadiens' 5 consecutive Stanley Cup championships in the 50s. And he was, from what I read a lot, he was really a fiery coach, and he had a real distinct dislike for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and particularly for Punch Imlach. So I almost put him at the center of that rivalry between Toronto and Montreal. And for that reason alone, and what he accomplished, I would probably rank him there. You know, Blake's, I think it was 8 career Stanley Cups or titles as head coach. Like it stood the test of time until Scotty Bowman got there, and he brought a little bit more to the table, obviously, as we all know. But yeah, 2 tough decisions right there for me.
And what's your final answer?
So yeah, it's Blake.
Yeah,
I go with Blake. Yeah.
Awesome. First of all, welcome Mr. Tony back in the house. Mr. Tony, comment tu vas, mon homme? We have Luciano Lucky Graziano. Welcome back.
Luch.
And I believe this is the first time Mr. Will John the Man back
that's
in
my
the
buddy,
house.
my good buddy, Will.
I think it's
Welcome,
great
Bo.
about that. Will, I like his comment. I don't know what you think about his comment. He said, you know what, Bowman, he crossed over many area.
That's a very good point for sure.
It's a
Like
really good point about this for me. Is you know what I mean? Like you think about 60s, late 70s, 80s, 90s, and he went every team he joined. Pittsburgh, honestly, St. Louis, I understand, but he performed, and that's for me. It's really important as a coach to adjust with where we are. And for me, Bowman, whatever is success, you know what I mean, he could sit in the car. So you know what, I won 4 or 5 straight with a Montreal Canadiens now in 8 years, whatever it was, and then say, you know what, I don't need to learn anything. He keep consistent learning to develop better tools on his toolbox to become the best coach in NHL. So for me, Bowman is really the one I will look about. Great. Pat Burns, Demers, they have their own time in NHL. To Blake was really great at a young, 50s. And then Dick Irvin, of course. But I have to go with Scotty Bowman as number one with most of W in NHL as a coach. And I think I would need him for my dream team for sure because, it's not going to be easy to coach Bob Gainey at some point. So we need Scotty Bowman in the house with us. But before that, we have to welcome Mr. RJ Calabro back in the house. RJ, thank you to be with us with all the update around the league. He just gave us, of course, the World Junior Championship about this. Welcome back, RJ. And William said, again, Bowman will be beside Polak on the Mount Rushmore about this. Tony said, Scotty have the look to just make you shake and not be upset about him. Skate and not be upset. You're upset about this one over there. RDP said, Pat Burns, respect. You're upset. You are not problem, Lucky. Will, welcome aboard. Ça va très bien, mon Tony. J'espère que tout va bien pour toi. And I just get out to be sure you think about how much he kept ahead of how much game grow. You're absolutely right about this one over there. Kelly said October 12, leave a Canadian. And then Will Sunrail, 70s, 80s, 90s. Absolutely great comments about this, Will, about this. We have our friend Alan Barnes is in the house.
Hey, Alan.
Hey, Alan.
And on this poll, guys, Scotty Bowman, 84%, guys. On the 19 vote we got. Thanks so much. Everybody participate at the vote. We really appreciate you do that for us. And we're testing some stuff like that during the year. So that we have really enjoyed about that one over there. So time to move on to the next one, Mr. Marco ENORTAP. I need to keep you awake. So the assistant coach now, Guy Carbonneau, Kirk Muller, Lappy, if you're all like ENORTAP and me, Luc Richardson, Gérard Galland, all the assistant coach. Great list of assistant coach for the Montreal Canadiens. Or if you have other players, or other, by the way, guys, if you have other people we forgot or we didn't mention, please mention to us, and we're going to discuss about this. We're going to bring you comments for each one of you if you stay on the subject, of course. So let's start it with Mr. ENORTAP.
Yeah, I hadn't seen this list, so obviously when I was sort of juggling both Bowman and Toe Blake. I had Toe Blake as the coach and assistant coach. I had Scotty Bowman, simply because as Marco mentioned before, he was the most winningest coach in the Montreal history, and that record still holds intact to today. Given this list, if I had to choose from here, the problem with probably the last two, like Gallant and Richardson, really didn't have, even though they were good, they didn't have the longevity, right? So it's hard to put them on a all-time all-star list unless they've been here for a while. I would probably go with maybe Guy Carbonneau. I thought at the time he was very innovative, and he emphasized the defensive aspect and responsibilities that as time went on after him became quite prominent in the NHL, and of course he was an alumni, of course, so he's he knew exactly where the team was headed, what their intentions were. He was very well involved in the community as well, but more importantly, he could relate to the players. Again, if you translate it to today's day and age, I think somebody mentioned it in the chat. It's interesting over the decades how these things and criteria for these individuals would completely change and probably wouldn't be valid in a different decade. But
Yeah.
I'll take E. Carbono.
Guy Carbonneau, Mr. ENORTAP, and then we said hi to Curtis. You have to go to bed, so he works tomorrow. Have a great night, Curtis. Thanks, and don't forget to click on the likes. And let's go, Marco.
Yeah, I was looking at the chat too. Same thing. I'm looking at my brother's on the chat tonight too, and he's probably more experienced than me for the Habs, like having watched them in the '70s and everything. So it's tough. I'm looking at the coach that we chose. So we have Scotty Bowman, and so for me, an assistant coach, their job is either going to be they're going to be responsible for special teams or they're going to be your D coach, right? So which one is more important? I would probably go with more of a D coach, just because I think Scotty would want to kind of have all the, all kind of his attention and all the special teams and all that stuff. So I'll focus in on a D coach, which kind of leaves Jacques Laperrière or Luke Richardson. Jacques Laperrière, again, I have a sweet spot for him because he was there all those years and kind of like my peak years and kind of the years I saw that were most successful. So I'm going to go Jacques Laperrière.
Yeah. By the way, it's funny because your brother is here, Mike. But I just see LARABIE. I thought it was you typing in the chat. So I never pay attention to your brother. So welcome, Mike. Thanks so much to be with us tonight. And it's fun people in the chat. Some when I said that, their answers. Some like Jacques Laperrière, some they're really into Guy Carbonneau, and some like Kirk Muller. And they are most right now Carbonneau lead this one over there. And I just want to get here. And that's
you hear that, Danny?
And then for me, I think if Bowman coach, you don't need a lot of people behind the bench. So I don't need like a special team, everything like that. It will just go by his experience. I have to go with, like you said, Marco. For me, Laperrière would be my choice behind the bench. I think he was underrated as an assistant coach in NHL. Compared, Gerald Gannett did not been a lot of years with the Montreal Canadiens to evaluate him. Richardson 6 years. Carbonneau was more like a head coach. I don't see Carbonneau as an assistant coach for me. Compared to Kirk Muller. Muller have a good up and down with a power play. We know that part, but I think he bring a lot behind. An assistant coach, guys, we call them the bear. You need to be a bear.
Yeah.
You have the good bear, you have the bad bear. The bad bear is more like the coach, and then the assistant coach
Good
more
cop,
like
bad cop.
Yeah. So for me, I will go with Laperrière on that one with Scotty Bowman. That'll be my two choice about this one. And we have Mr. Dan Asham is in the house tonight.
Hey, Dan.
For both coaches, you have to kind of you have to look at their gum chewing skills too. Like that's an important skill, like how intensely they chew gum or chew ice. I remember Jacques Laperrière was like an intense gum chewer.
And then we have Nona said Kirk Muller, and then we have AP said to us with Guy Carbonneau. Thanks so much, Mr. AP, about Guy Carbonneau. And the final of this pool, guys, I will give it to you right away. I'm sorry, not that.
Go ahead.
All right. Guy Carbonneau number is 42%, following by Muller, Richardson, and Laperrière. It's just because I'm old, so nobody knows Laperrière, so I would get it anyway.
No, we all know that.
19 vote. That's what the selection of that one there. And we have Mr. Roger Delaney is in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Roger.
Here we go. It's time to go by position. I understand, Luciano, you leave us a question at some point. Maybe one of you can answer this during time. I will put the poll. Because Scully was another coach who would not survive, and today goes his style.
Well, I think William made a good point earlier that, he's somebody that has a track record over many different eras, but the one era that he didn't have experiences in this new era post Mike Babcock and kind of in this new Me Too kind of era where a lot of things would not go. So if you go on his track record where he was able to evolve and adapt to the game, there's no reason to think that he wouldn't have also evolved there. You just hope that there's nothing that he did in his previous years that would be so bad that would come out, in the public that would enable him not to continue, right? So I think he would adapt, but the question is, would he be able to? Because we all know it was a very different game behind the scenes back then. So I think he'd be okay.
All right. Center, Béliveau, Richard, Coivo, Lemaire, et Placanette. And let's start with one of you, and I will go from there.
Well, for me, when I was thinking of the
ahead.
lines, when I was thinking about the lines, I was sort of, I wasn't looking specifically at positions, but just people that work well together. But anyways, turns out for me on line one is John Béliveau, and he was a true centerman. At that time, being 6'3", that was a towering figure in those days. And he had great hands, like even beyond the kind of person he was. I mean, he turned out to be or ranking as the second highest Canadian in all-time points, just over 1,200 points in his, I think, less than 1,100 games or something like that. But he was really an inspirational leader for many, many years. We know just the kind of respect that this man garnered along the way, and we saw that even at his funeral a number of years back. The respect was just enormous. When you think of Montreal Canadiens, he's one of the names that constantly comes up. And in terms of on the ice, when you needed a goal, this guy led by example. So I would have him as the number one center.
Thank you, Will. Very kind of you. See you next time.
Thanks for coming, Will. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah. So this is, listen, how long have we been begging for a big center in Montreal? So here we go. We get a huge big center. And he doesn't have to beg for a number, right? He gets his old number 4 back. So hard to pass up on Jean Béliveau. I think his game probably translates really well. Big, really kind of the thing. I've never saw him play live, obviously, but the thing you read over and over is how deceptive it is that he looked like he wasn't doing much on the ice, but he was still a great skater. So listen, I think he would translate well in today's game. So yeah, hard to go over Béliveau. My heartstrings are with the more modern players. Like Will was saying, there's recency bias there. So I love my Thomas Plekanec and Saku Koivu era, but hey, we didn't draft Shane Wright, so let's end up with Jean Béliveau. That's a pretty good trade-off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about this. I'm still because I always respect for Jean Béliveau. He may be the most classy players at this area for sure, and off ice, on ice, and really been a great human being. I'm sure, captain because he was really a leader. But the nosy Richard, the one where the underdog, because he's always been under his brother. He's always been the one, is the little brother, right? It's Maurice, and then him. No respectful about people thinking about him. Just go through the door, and he played with the heart of the logo in front of him. And honestly, of course, I would go with Jean Béliveau, but on the Henri Richard, I would take him anytime, me on my team, because you need a guy like him. And you know, one is, I know you're laughing at me, but a player similar with him in their days now is really Brett Marchand. I think Brett Marchand catalyzed a little bit what Richard did in 1970s. The big goal, show up every day, and he will go whatever. As small player he was, and Marchand he is, I think that kind of player I can compare Henri Richard with Brett Marchand. Whatsoever, I don't like Boston Bruins, but it's on the subject. But long story, Jean Béliveau is really the one I will take for my team for sure.
What I found shocking going back though and looking at some of these guys, I didn't know he was only 5'7". It was crazy. So that much respect, like 5'7", and I don't know how much he weighed, but yikes.
Yeah. So Béliveau, Richard, Lemay, talk about your brother. Talk dash for the two troisième does not work. It would be a right winger. And we'll go from that one there. Let's see what we have on the chat. We have Jean Béliveau, dominate, following by Sako Koivu, Jacques Lemaire, Henri Richard. 19 people participate, so we're still on the vote right there. So that's what we have for the center. Let's move on to the next one over there. And this one is a left winger. We have Pacioretty, Steve Schott, Bob Gainey, Tiki Moore, and Mats Naslund. I think this could be around 3 players. And I will put the vote. And let's start it with Mr. ENORTAP. Or maybe Marco, I think I'm wrong, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think out of all of them, this is the most wide open one. So some of the other ones are a little bit more obvious, but this one is hard, man, for sure. Oh man, so hard to overlook Steve Shutt, obviously. Just a pure goal scorer, and it's just so consistent over that time period. But you love Mats Naslund as well too. Just such a dynamic little Viking guy. What's not to love about that? But and then Max. I don't think I've always been a huge Max Pacioretty fan. I think he's a great goal scorer, but really didn't provide much value when he wasn't scoring.
Or in the playoffs.
Or during the playoffs. Yeah, Bob Gainey's, Mr. Selke. So, but this is our top line, right? So I don't think we would have Bob on your top line. So I think you go with Steve Shutt on this one, but really solid props to Mats Naslund, because I could see if he played with Mario Lemieux during the All-Star game, I can see seeing him play with the Big Bill as well. The Grand Bill.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it specifically as line one, but because when I see these names, and again, I'm probably a bit biased here, but I've got to go with Bob Gainey. Again, a great, fantastic leader. Maybe statistically not one of the best, but anytime you have an award named after you, or not after him, but they set up an award based on his play. I think that speaks volumes. And then also when you have, a coach of a Russian team that calls you the best player on the planet at the time, that too speaks volumes. So this guy, he could play it any way you liked. If you needed him to play defensively, he could do it. He can check any player in the league. If you needed a big goal, he could come up big. He could hit. Was the silent kind of leader for the team, captain. So for
Didn't
me,
the Russians also call him like the best hockey player in the world? Like in the 70s, like they thought he was like even other than Gretzky and other on the planet. They called him the best hockey player on the planet.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, great choice, both of you. Honestly, we have a few people pick, Naslund. Some took Steve Shutt. Some take with Bob. We want to welcome back Montreal sport fan, and then Danick Terrien. Both of you welcome in the house. Thanks for being with us. And then Marc-Antoine Fugère-Julina, welcome back. And he chose a Tiki Moore from him, from MA. Yeah, Tiki Moore was really good on those kind of 1950s return of that. Matt Naslund was great, but not good enough to be the best dream team if I want to go that one there. Same situation with Matt Pacioretty. Now we have to go with Steve Schott and Bob Gainey. If you talk about dream team, so I don't go with the line. I'm just talking about the position about that. I know Steve Schott, what he accomplished for 2 seasons, 60 goals, and beside Lamar and Lafleur. For me, Bob Gainey checked again all the box because you can put him on the ice, you give him a role, and he will accomplish that role. The forechecking may be the best one. It was really the net domination on many ways on defensive zone, offensive zone. He scored many times 20 goals per year. And for me, his leadership, his captain side, the way he carried on the team on his shoulder many times, play with injuries, and whatsoever Steve Schott was there. Closely, I will go with Bob Gainey over Steve Schott, but not like, over like great a lot, because Bob Gainey was, Steve Schott was really a great hockey player.
You guys are defense first, eh? Defense first. Bob Gainey, 24th overall scorer in Habs history. 24th.
Yep.
Yeah.
20. Like, what's the highest amount of goals that Gainey ever scored in a season?
If you look at his totals, I mean,
and the way he played with the line he played, right? He did not play the top line all the time, so he was a really. I don't know his
like Bobby Smith finished with more points than Bob Gainey in the overall all-time Habs scoring. I love Gainey, but I don't know, man. Top left wing.
That's why I'm saying if you're looking at top line, it would probably go to Shutt. But if you're looking to, top winger, like obviously one of the most instrumental wingers to have on your team that can accomplish more than just what Shutt did, which was offense, it would be Bob Gainey.
Yep. He played, he had 5 seasons of 20 goals. So.
Yeah.
Let's see what we have here in the chat here. For the poll, that will give you the result. Bob Gainey, 37%, following by Steve Schott. This is the most closest, pick right now, followed by Matt Naslund, Matt Pacioretty. So everybody got a vote, or 24 vote, and we thanks everybody participate and make a vote about this one over there. So we really appreciate you guys who do that for us. Thanks so much, Dan, about this. I tried to get Pierre Martin, welcome aboard. Thanks for being with us. Pierre Martin says Steve Schott, soft hands, putting, and there's so many goals. Luciano is agree with that one over there for Steve Schott. And then I tried to get other people yet. Thank you for coming. You're welcome, Danny. A pleasure. So easy to love to play Gainey with Lafleur and Lamar during the playoff. Tony, a 2-front game is very important to us fans now. Absolutely right about this one over there. And then that's conclude that one. Let's move on now to the next position. We still have 4 to go. The right winger, Guy Lafleur, Maurice Richard, Yvan Cournoyer, Stéphane Richer, Bernard Geoffrion. I know some of you will be really interesting to get that one over there.
Yikes. Oh, man. This is going to divide the nation here.
I know.
This is, wow. Tearing your heart apart for this one. I'm glad ENORTAP gets to go first for this one.
Okay. Well, for me, I see how there's at least a couple names there that are tempting, but how can you not give it to Guy Lafleur in my eyes? First of all, he was the all-time leading scorer in Canadiens history. He had, I think it was 6 50-goal seasons in a time and era where not many were getting that. He had, I think, something like 15 or 16 hat tricks that he scored, which ranks right behind, I think, Richard, who's also there, and Beliveau. He had, I think, 6 or 7 100-point seasons. statistically there as a person, fantastic. Uh, wasn't a leader per se, but he could take the team on his shoulders at any time you needed a goal, and we saw it multiple times. This guy would take over a game for you, and if you're any other team, that's the guy you target in terms of putting your best defensive player on him, for sure.
Well, I guess I'll try to make this a fun debate here. You have Maurice Richard. I think. Do you have Guy Lafleur without Maurice Richard? Like he really kind of, what he represents for Quebec. He started kind of French Canadians feeling proud about who they are. Like Maurice Richard is, if you talk about Mount Rushmore, to me he's Mount Rushmore even more than Lafleur because of he's the godfather of all that came after that, right? So culturally speaking, it's very hard. Guy Lafleur again just because of how more recent it was, but let's look at it just to take the kind of emotion out of it. Let's just look at it from a scouting perspective. In today's game, right? So Guy Lafleur was 6 feet. Maurice Richard was 5'10". You always opt for the size, so we'll go with Guy just because of the size factor, and maybe he would be translate a little bit more to the modern game into any other era. But man, Maurice Richard, I wish I could have seen him play. At least we get to have Martin Saint-Louis, which is, from what I've seen, he has a similar kind of intense look in his eyes, and so at least we get kind of experience that intensity through a guy like that. But that's a tough call, and I love Stéphane Richer too, because last half to score 50 goals, he has a soft place in my heart. But let's go with Flower.
There's so many things in the chat. I just get it's really difficult that one with everybody. It's so close. I talked earlier, shot in the GRENIER close, but this one is about closer. It's all depends what you're looking for as your team.
Exactly.
On your first line, everything like that. And Luc Lafortune, welcome in the house, by the way. But you have so many. So I did not see Maurice Richard, but I heard Maurice Richard all the time and everything like that. So I know what he did in Quebec, everything like that. I grew up with Yvan Cournoyer, Guy Lafleur all my life, everything. And Guy Lafleur been my favorite players all my life. So I have to go with Guy Lafleur. But I think the underrated here is Yvan Cournoyer on my book. I think you talk about Henri Richard earlier. That's another one, Yvan Cournoyer. The speed, he was the McDavid of not on productivity, but the way he was skating. He had no clothes in that area when Cournoyer was play, and what he bring. And then you talk about another 5'7", everything like that. Gave his heart like Richard. I think Cournoyer. Well, I understand what Maurice Richard did, but Guy Lafleur elevate everything what we expect in my time, and he took what Richard he carried on the flambeau to the Montreal Canadiens for the French people for many years. Lafleur did the same thing after that, and for me, because Lafleur is my area, I will go, but again, Richard behind quick, and then Cournoyer very quick. Richer, Geoffrion, Richer have 2 seasons, 50 goals in the cent, but they are not the same level like the first three about that one over there. So I think
how many years was Cournoyer captain? 5 years?
I don't have it in front of me right now.
But he was that. I see what you're saying, Coach. He was that really important bridge in between Beliveau and Lafleur era, right? And
he was the one where he carried on the team. So Team Canada, he played for Team Canada. It's like everybody talk always about Richard, Lafleur, Shot, Lemaire, Beliveau. I always forget Cournoyer. And for me, I think he's the one he's really show a lot of character as a captain, of course, after Beliveau.
Yeah. Last thing I would say too is I'm a little a little insulted that Mike Hoffman is not on this list, but it's okay.
Yeah, look, when you look at Lafleur and you look at Richard, they galvanized a province like nobody else can. These two, for different reasons, different decades, but uh, like the following that these guys had, just unbelievable, unbelievable.
Yep. Absolutely right. Alberta, BC, welcome aboard.
Which we should do this definitely for some other teams too, like the Leafs and Oilers. I think that would be fun to do for some other Canadian teams. It's fun.
Yep.
Even
Tim
Toronto?
Morrison, welcome aboard. Thanks to be with us tonight. Richard is not even level the team other name. About that one there. What's the matter with Rocket? The passion of Richard and unmatched of this day. About this one there. Of course, I like how Lafleur would have long hair and skate like a winner gets a damn money suspension. My training for young blood. About this one there. And that's what we got at that moment. And that's the end of this pool, guys. Was let's see what we got here. I think Lafleur win that one. 58,
58%,
Maurice Richard
yeah.
37, Yvan Cournoyer and Stéphane Richer at 0.
Shut
24
out.
people vote, so thank you so much about that
Richer
one.
shut out.
over there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we have leave will have to be before 1937. And then we have, this one, man, is bringing back memories to me. That's awesome about that. And we appreciate everybody. Let's move on to the get over there. And
I'm glad Mike made that joke. I wanted to, but
here we go. Left defenseman, guys. We're a little bit flexible about the situation, the position, honestly, about this. So we go to select one side to another side. And Robinson, Markov, Lapointe, Harvey, and Emile Bouchard are the selection about that one over there.
My first on this one, this one's pretty easy, I think. But I'll try to make counterpoints, I guess. For me, the number one option would be Robinson, not just because of his statistics, but also the eras that he played in. Like he played, well into the modern era. Like didn't he retire in the 90s? Like or late 80s? I think he played like into like almost the mid 90s, right, with LA. So I think
I think it was in the 80s.
well, he was in the Cup final for Montreal in '89, right? And then he got traded. Like I think he played at least another year. So I think he made it into the '90s with LA. So he played a little bit in that era. To me, he's just like a total package. Just size, toughness, speed, mobility, meanness. Like just he turned around that series against the Flyers. Montreal was a little intimidated playing in Philadelphia, and he came in and just clobbered someone, and the whole team just kind of felt a little bit more confident. And from that point on, the Broad Street Bullies were kind of dead. And Montreal just kind of took over the 70s from there, and that's something that people don't talk enough about, the importance that Robinson had in that 70s dynasty that Montreal had, and that turning point that was. So, but again, like as I've said with all of them, I have a recency bias in terms of the teams that I watched growing up in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Markov, he's right there. I think if you look at defensemen, in terms of all-time scoring for Montreal, I believe, he finishes second right after Larry. So 883 points for Larry, 572 points in 300 less games for Markov. Markov was just such a smart player, and that was such a terrible way to end his career. Isn't he like 2 games away from playing 1,000 games with Montreal? Like, just how poorly was that managed? That leaves a really, really poor taste in my mouth. So I love Andre Markov, but go Robinson.
For me, when I think of defense for Montreal, I always, I go back to the guys I grew up with as well. And I think of the big three, right? Robinson, Savard, and Lapointe. but I'd have to put Larry Robinson up there. Obviously, uh, his 17 seasons that he played with Montreal, but you look at his stats, they spoke for themselves. His size, he was able to, um, obviously uh, help the goaltender. He was always involved in the rush. Great puck moving defenseman. Could score pretty much, whenever you needed a big goal. Was on specialty teams. He's won. I think he won 2 Norris trophies, and he may have won even 2 Conn Smythe awards as well.
I don't think he won the
That one,
Conn Smythe, did he? Larry Robinson?
I thought twice he won it, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about that one, but definitely 2 Norris trophies he won. And this guy was everywhere, as you mentioned. He had speed and he can hit, and he was. If you look at some of the old footage, anytime anybody touched anybody on Montreal, Larry Robinson was the first guy in there all the time, the first one.
Yeah, great selection, both of you. I think Markov, la points almost similar as the productivity for the Montreal Canadiens overall. I think Markov was really a vision and passing the puck and power play. That point was, of course, offensive, more at the defensive, whatsoever he did pretty good. Emile Bouchard was about a slap shot. But I want to pay attention about Doug Harvey. I think not many, I never see him, but the way he played his game was really one. He evaluate the game on his time and for the Montreal Canadiens and then for the NHL overall. To compare him the best defenseman, no. But I think it would be my second choice after Larry Robinson. For me, Larry Robinson check out the box. Offensive, defensive, great. Take control about the game at the time he needed. He will show up. He will do it. And the size he has, the way he carry on, and more older, and I think it was getting better, but more respect by other players, opponent team, and in general. A bit what Shara did at the end, where you can see at the end of the year with Boston, it was really at that level for overall. So Robinson carried that kind of respect around the NHL. I would go with Larry Robinson tonight, but again, this is really a great, tough one.
Great hair too,
sure.
like great hair. And you were right, ENORTAP. He did have 1 Conn Smythe, 77, 78.
Oh, okay, just one. Okay.
Yep. And then the end of this one, guys, is Robinson, followed by Doug Harvey, Guy Lapointe, and Andre Markov. 20 people participate on that one over there, so pretty good about this one. And then thanks again for the 20 people participate. We're going to move on to the right defenseman. And honestly, this is a bit smaller, but it's all right. Brisebois, Chelio, Subban, Desjardins, et Charles Chavard.
Is it my turn?
That one's more wide open, eh? That one's more wide open too.
I would still have Serge Savard there. I mentioned, the top 3 names that came to my mind, and Serge Savard was another 6'3" defenseman. Talk about a calming force out there that not only used his size well, but was showed a lot of finesse on his skates. He was infamous for his Savardian spinorama to get himself out of tight situations sometimes. He was just very steady defensively. He played on many Team Canada, Olympics, Russian series, and he ranks probably, I would say, in the top 10 of Montreal scoring, probably. So that's not too
He's
shabby
number 5,
either.
number 5 overall, or for
Is he
defenseman, he's number 5 over defenseman only. Yeah.
And how about overall?
Overall, he is.
Did he make the top 10?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
But look at his awards. He won a Rookie of the Year. He won the Conn Smythe as well. I don't think he got the Norris, but that's because of a couple of other players that were on our team at the time. But definitely like an ambassador for Montreal, and we still see it to this day. He's an advisor for the team. He was just like he's constantly um, involved in the community, and on the ice, he was just like the calm force that you needed on defense.
Yeah, like he did win the Conn Smythe in 68, 69. That like I don't know if that's right. Like 'cause he's like a 70s guy, right? But I'm seeing here
He
that he won the
started
cup.
he
He won the
started
Conn
before
Smythe.
Robinson.
So,
He
but he
started
would have won
before
the Conn
Robinson.
Smythe in 68 and 69. That's surprising.
Yeah,
And he won the
yeah.
Bill Masterton Trophy in 78, 79.
Well, I think
Um,
he came in around 65 or 66. I think Savard.
so if you would
So
have asked me like, oh yeah, so Serge Savard won a Conn Smythe, I would have assumed it would have been in the 70s, not in the 60s. When I think Savard, I think 70s. But yeah, I'll again just to be a contrarian. I'm assuming that's what everybody will say will be Serge Savard. But for me, I'll go Chris Chilios. A little bit more modern game. Breaking down the numbers here. So Serge Savard played double the amount of games pretty much that Chilios did. Chilios had 402 games as a HAB. Serge Savard, more than double. Savard had 900 games. And I think Chilios finished with only 100 less points than Savard during that period of time. So just in terms of point production, the point per game, Chilios I think would be way way ahead of Savard there. Chilios is an absolute physical specimen. The longevity of his career, like he played well into his 40s. So how can you not want a guy like that as part of your team? Like that's just going to be there, be like a just like a core of your team for a long period of time. Right shot D. He actually was ambidextrous. He could shoot from both sides. We saw that a couple times when he played in Montreal. I don't think I've ever seen that in a game ever since, where he kind of faked and then like went the other side and shot with the other hand. That's pretty awesome. And he used to do all of his biking stuff in a sauna. That's pretty hardcore. So I'll say Chilios to be a bit of a contrarian. Recency bias, Marco bias. I'll go with Eric Desjardins for the 1993 hat
Cup.
trick against Los Angeles, with a little assist from Jacques Demers on that one. But let's go Chris Chilios.
Chilios remind us with Larry Robinson when he's at the beginning of his career, everything like that. On that list, Sava, one thing we don't forget, he's broken his leg. He never been the same player after that. I think it was 5 location he got when he broke his leg. Everything he had to change his game. Like I think Mike talked about this and on that one over there. So I think for me, I understand Chelios, what he's been in the NHL for a long time. I think he have a better career after the Montreal Canadiens. He left Montreal. I understand what he did for the Montreal, but I think the impact of Chaval was more bigger for the Montreal Canadiens. And for me, I will go with Serge Chaval on that one. But again, following by Chelios and Desjardins. I think Desjardins was another underrated, honestly, another bad trade
Yeah.
for the Montreal Canadiens, I think, for him.
Oh man,
But
Mark
Very
Recchi
much
was a
so.
good player, but
yeah,
yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
This is a close one on the poll here too, eh, Coach? This is pretty close.
yeah.
Who's
Let's
our
go with that
leader?
one over there.
Savard.
Savard's leading, but it's pretty tight. Pretty tight.
Yeah, Savard 43, Chelios 39, Desjardins 8, and then Subban 8. So 23 participate on that one over there. So that's pretty good.
No Shea Weber. No Shea Weber.
No,
That's
Let's
another one
finish
that could
Savard
happen.
book. Great
actually,
read
that
for
that
this.
goes hand in hand with what I wanted to ask the both of you. In making your decisions, how much does playing your career out in Montreal play a part of it?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Like I'm looking, the way that I'm looking at this is okay, you're building. I'm looking at it. Okay, like if I could field a team for today, like ice a team for today, which ones would kind of fit best, right? So it's a combination of okay, who are the best all time, and but also could they even play today, kind of thing. So that's why I chose Chilios out of that.
Welcome, Joseph. Thanks for being with us. And he was on part all before that
Hey,
one.
Joseph, how's it going?
Hey,
Thanks so
Joseph.
much, Joseph, to be with us. Finally, guys, we have the last one of the night. And this one, I think, was a bit fun. I shift you one of your name. I put Bill Durnan versus the one you put there.
I think I had Gump Worsley in there. Gump
Yeah,
Worsley.
so that's what I decided to go with that one. They have a longevity with Montreal, more victories, everything like that. So I go with that. So Plant, Price, Dryden, Roy, Durham, and good luck. This is going to be really interesting for the goaltender about that one there.
The old timers, I know where they're going to go, but we'll see.
Go ahead, Marco. It's your turn.
Well, the whole show here, guys, I've been talking about my bias with the 80s and 90s teams. So you can imagine where I'm going to go here. Mr. Conn Smythe, Mr. I can't hear you because I have Stanley Cup blocking my ears, Patrick Waugh, Mr. Winky, I think would be a good nickname for him too. Just, he's probably one of the main reasons why I'm so passionate about hockey. Just like you guys that grew up watching those 70s teams, for me, watching, Patrick was just magical as a kid, and watching him grow up, watching those teams that weren't supposed to win because of him. And listen, I think a lot of people around the NHL believe him to be one of the best goalies of all time. And I think there's a lot of polls in the past that have asked if you had to choose one goalie for one game, a Game 7 deciding game, Patrick is always either at the top or second in votes for those. So I know we'll get some Jacques Plante and some Ken Dryden in here. If I was voting for best hockey poster, I would choose Ken Dryden because of the famous pose.
Only the pose.
Yeah. If I was voting for best author and goalie, then I would choose Ken Dryden, most intellectual Ken Dryden. But Game 7, everything on the line, Patrick. St. Patrick.
How about the best mask?
Best mask.
Invented the mask.
Dryden. Yeah, Dryden.
Jacques Plante, come on.
I go Dryden. I don't know. Tough one though.
Again, I'm going. I like Dryden quite a bit, but here's my take on Dryden. I don't know. People might not agree with it or not. Anytime you have, I think, three players like Robinson, Savard, Lapointe, and the other three weren't bad either. I feel you could have almost put anybody of a good value in that net, and they still would have produced the kind of numbers. And the other thing that Dryden probably didn't have as much as the choice I'm going to go with is the longevity aspect of it. But I love Dryden. I grew up with him, and I think his numbers are just off the chart when you look at it. The only thing with the guy I went with, which is Plante, he's if you look at his career goals against, it's a sparkling, I think 222 or something like that. He won 7 Vezina trophies. He won the Hart Memorial. This guy, he redefined the position by wearing, that first mask after taking that Andy Bathgate slap shot to the face. I just thought, just based on those facts alone, he's probably my number one. And Price definitely has merit, but doesn't have the cups to back it up. Raw definitely does, and it's too bad things went the way they went with Patrick Raw and Mario Tremblay, because I think this guy would have probably been the number one here. And Durham, you can't complain about either. but I'll lean towards Jacques Plante.
Jacques Plante?
Yes.
Yeah, I can understand you on that one over there for sure. Carey Price, the only problem we're going to get is because he never won a Stanley Cup, and that compared to other players you have on this list. Ken Dryden carry on that team for, unfortunately, the longevity of the Ken Dryden with the Montreal Canadiens was, but it was successful for sure. And I think, like you said, not many players when the Connie Smythe, the Calder, and the Calder following after he got the Connie Smythe before the Calder that year. So
I think Cam Ward is the only other to do that, eh?
I'm
Cam
not
Ward?
sure about it. Wesley.
No, I don't think so. I think he's the only one.
I think he is, but I could be verified. Patrick Roy, look, been with Montreal, about 10 years? He been 2W, and area where the Montreal was not the best of the best at that time. Bill Durham have a good career, over 353 games, I believe, with the Montreal Canadiens. But I understand the new, I never see him play, but not true. I see him play, but whenever with the Montreal Canadiens, I think Jacques Plante make an impact major in the NHL and with the Montreal Canadiens. Now, if you want to carry on this for today, I think the only one close after Carey Price, it would be Patrick Roy for the Dream Team. If you go that direction, like what would be the best player goaltender for the next 10 years, I think Roy would be a little bit better. I think Dryden was not adjusting about this. And
Dryden didn't really do well I know he won the Canada Cup, but he didn't really play super well. Like, he wasn't the reason why they won those either, right?
yeah.
He was allowing a lot of goals.
Yeah.
And I think for me, Patrick Roy was, for all of them, I understand they have passion for each one of them, but Patrick Roy was maybe the one the more passionate and dominate, want to win more for anybody else. And so I'm going to go anyway with Jacques Plante, but if you have to pick one for the future in front of me, I would go with Patrick Roy. But Dream Team tonight, I'll go with Jacques Plante on that one over there. And that gave us, guys, the winner of this one over there is Patrick Roy.
I finally came on top.
And it's not close. Followed by Ken Dryden, Jacques Plante, and Carey Price. 21 people participate on that one on the 32. So let's see what we have here.
Goalie.
Your brother said Little Rocky Vachon could have done what Dryden did. Ken or Roy for RDP. With a defense like that, somebody's driver can be your goalie. About this one over there. And then Pierre Martin says Jacques Plante was a brick. Dryden was drafted by the Browns in 64. Yep, so right about this. Germany take 2-0 the lead over the Switzerland. Patrick have some flaws in that. I agree with Joseph about that one over there. That's conclude, guys. Honestly, the dream team of the Montreal Canadiens tonight. That's pretty much it. We're going to reviewing this very quickly, one by one, and if we all agree here about that. I think Sam Pollock won that one, right?
Yeah.
And then we have assistant GM.
Jacques Lemaire, I think, won that
Jacques
one.
Lemaire was the winner of that one. And the head coach, we go with Scotty Bowman.
Scotty Bowman.
Assistant coach, I think it was Guy Carbonneau.
No, I think yeah.
Right?
Or was it LaPerriere?
That's who we thought, but I think the general audience.
Okay. Center, it was Jean Béliveau.
Yeah.
The vote.
Left winger, I can't remember what Steve Schott or Bob Gainey.
I think it was Bob Gainey.
Yeah.
And then we have the right winger, we have Guy Lafleur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Larry Robinson on that one. On that one, we have
Was
Chelios.
it Savard? I think it was Savard.
Saval. Okay. And then finally here, we have the last one over there. Patrick Roy was the winner of that one. That gave us like the dream team of the...
Hey, Coach, what do you think of one little bonus trick curveball one here? Out of all existing Montreal Canadiens players, who would you send if you were in a shootout or a breakaway? Any player all time, Montreal. One shot, breakaway, or a penalty shot.
Go ahead and not that.
I would say probably Mats Naslund. I think he had great hands, great speed, and I've seen him on a couple of penalty shots, and he took the goalie right out of his skates.
Okay. Mats Naslund.
Danny, go with Lafleur, Markov.
I'll go off the board here. Here's a subtle one. Doug Gilmour.
Dougie was a good player. We got him too late.
Yeah.
But he was good. He was good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Russ Cotnall, but I'm going to go with him.
Cardinal, he was terrible. He's terrible on breakaways. Terrible.
Breakaways, yeah.
He
could score it under any other circumstance, but not a breakaway.
Yeah. No.
Alain Photo talk about Paul Biron.
Byron's, he's decent on breakaways.
Very good.
I know many people will not believe me, but
penalty shots.
I
Because
think
breakaways, you don't have as much time to think about it. While a penalty shot, it's the whole psychological thing. You have to wait, and there's more build up to it.
Yeah.
Pierre Martin go with Jean Béliveau in the past. I think that's a good pick.
That's a good one. Yeah.
But I think Jonathan Drouin, maybe the one I was thinking. Like if I have, I don't know if it would be it might be one of my top 3 selection.
Suzuki is pretty good too, though. Suzuki's looking
Jonathan
pretty good
Drouin on that one over there. Look at person. Doug Gilmour is not HABS. Look.
Sure he is.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he played a couple of years. Look.
HABS legend Doug Gilmour.
Gortner was like Réjean Houle, forget about. Cole Caulfield is the best and ever.
Yeah, he'd be
great shot. I don't know about the hands yet, but he's got a good shot.
Joseph, he said Cournoyer, and
that's a good pick.
It's a good pick. I think about him before that, but when I talk about him, I see a Sherwood with a no curve on the blade, and I'm not sure he can do that. But I think about him a little bit earlier about this. So that's what we had on that one over there, and then been smart, and then we have Luc. Still not an ad for me from Luc Lafortune. About this, Johnny, welcome aboard. Yep, is a new one, Mr. Johnny. No fair getting the penalty shot. About this, I don't know. We have other players. I was thinking to do that, but let's finish this. We have about end of the show, guys, and before we leave, and we are almost at the end of the preliminary round for the World Junior Championship. Tomorrow, 3 game. Monday, 3 game. That's we go to the next phase, but. Maybe we know Team Canada, Team USA. I don't want to go that way. I want to give me maybe 3 players are really impressed. You are really impressed so far. And of course, if you are one player, you was really disappointed so far. And it could be Montreal Canadian prospect, or it could be any other players in that tournament.
You mean Team Canada? Not Montreal Canadiens.
Well, the whole tournament. Like the whole which HABS prospects in the tournament.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised, but I'm sort of amazed by McTavish and what he's done for Canada. This guy leads the tournament right now in points, but he's magic with that puck. As is Bedard, who's a year younger. Those 2 really stand out. I think who else? Misak has played very well as well. And I'll try to think of some disappointments along the way as well. If you want to jump in as well, Marco.
Yeah. So overall, so in terms of HABS prospects, you're right. Mishak has had a really good tournament so far. He's an older kid though too, right? So you'd expect him to perform really well. And I think Coach, we might want to confirm this, but I think it might be the first time in history where a player is the captain of his World Junior team for 3 years in a row. So that's quite the accomplishment for Jan Misak. Even if there's been one or two in the past, like that doesn't happen often. So he's been really, really good so far. Um, I'll be honest. I haven't really been that impressed with Bedard so far. Like I find really a little bit like his shot is unreal. It's out of this universe. That's not debatable. But I find his overall play is a bit selfish, a little too kind of fancy with the puck, dangling at the blue line, causing turnovers. We haven't really played. Canada hasn't played teams that are that that dangerous yet. So let's see if Bedard what it will look like against the U.S. So impressed, but so other than Team Canada though, Edvinsson for Team Sweden is going to be just amazing for Detroit. Another disappointment is Team Slovakia. Dvorsky's been kind of a disappointment so far. A lot of people are talking, even coaches talking about maybe like a top 5 pick. So let's see if that's going to hurt him. Some other disappointments. Kulich, for the Czech Republic was pretty quiet today as well. So some interesting things. Definitely discovered some good players. But I found overall the Hlinka tournament was probably a little bit more interesting because we're all looking forward to the 2023 draft, and there's more players there that got my attention compared to this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely right about this. I think first of all, you're missing a lot of players right there, right? That's the first thing for me. As a bit friend about this one. Second thing, yeah, no Russia. The Russian team is not there. That's another point I think we have to mention because Australia maybe but one of the bottom will not be on that tournament for sure. Player for me is all about McDavid. McDavid set up every box right now, check every box, and the leader, and he controlled Team Canada. Again, 2 goals I believe today.
Yeah.
For me, it was really the one I was like, wow. On the prospect, I have to give credit for Joshua Roy over Jan Misak. The problem with Jan Misak is 20 years old, and you can see those kind of players separate themselves a little bit. They're 20 years old, and like you said, 3 years,
19.
3 captain for them, everything. And that's make me not worry, but why the other players did not go there? Like some people, I don't want to have that subject, but why they are not there? The Cooley and not only Montreal, but overall in the NHL, why they're not there when Misak is still there, have a great tournament, he makes some point over there. Bedard is all right.
Injured.
I think Bedard is up and down, but not like he's not dominate. But I don't see the domination, but I see the details of the game where he's really dominate on those area right there. So for me, like I said, he's not the highlights, right? But he will do some fun play, and then I think you can see a little bit his size is a little bit behind compared to other players right there. Chirichek's Nemec was not too much impressive. Chirichek got hit solidly today. One player I really like for the Team Canada, if he's again because he's always been that reputation, is really Roddy Craig for the Team Canada. Is the guy mold for a playoff team. If you're going to get that guy, the third line, a Coltman, a Goodrow, this kid, it will be helping you a lot. What you're going to see on the playoff, like the second round, third round, he maybe elevate his game. What is great, I think he need explosive on his game. One is not good, it's one he does not skate. And this is good for any other players, but he need always to have a better game. He need to be on movement, so move his feet all the time. But his explosion is not there. On the flip side, is really smart, and he passed the puck a lot.
Positioning,
the game, the vision, the game is really good for him. But if you want to stay in the NHL, the top 6 is really skating. Top 9, I see him a 9 more at the third line players as finesse every turn this, and he can score. He have a good hands every turn that. So for me, Joshua Roy it's not too bad. Overall,
It's been good.
we're not there
Do you
yet.
see do you see Charles Udon in him a little bit?
I'm sorry.
Do you see a little bit of Udon in Ottawa's
Better
game?
at you don't.
No, he's better. He's better.
Better you
We'll
don't
see.
on the player overall. You don't have it only one side really on the offensive side, everything like that. But I think the finesse of Roy is step it will be a little bit better in NHL compared to Charles Hudon. But again, if you don't get that kind of explosive and when you watch too much, that's what the problem they get there. They're a bit disappointed about Team Finland, whatsoever they are, where they are. Overall, they win, but they don't dominate. They're hanging there. They just not have that kind of.
Yeah.
They don't have like 2-3 players step up more. On the 2004 playoff, the 2004 NHL draft next year, we don't see a lot of them step up. What my expectation was, the Bedard or the. You mentioned him earlier, Devorsky. It's more Dvorak right now for Slovakia. Step up over there. Couple of good game performance.
Dvorsky hasn't been
they
bad,
lose
though.
a lot, but
He's been okay. Yeah, another one to mention, Coach, that really stuck out to me for Team USA is Leafs prospect Knives. Really nice, really strong tournament. That guy's going to be a beast. I think we were talking about the Leafs a little while ago, how they're going to need depth in their lineup. Like I think him and Robertson sneak into that lineup and really kind of solidify their bottom six and give them a little oomph. So he's a really nice one, really nice prospect.
And we have a breaking news. Roger Doucet just beat Jeanette Renault 58-42. So it was my final.
That's close.
And
That's close.
But we have a couple of people I want to welcome. First of all, Zenit. But I want to mention Luke Hughes by Ron was been fun to watch. I agree with you. The better release shot drag was pretty good. Isaac Rosen have an amazing game today. Johnson, we did not talk about him. I think.
Man.
Yeah, he's been good. Yeah, very good.
You can
That's
see
one of the better Michigan.
You notice
goals
the difference. You notice the difference in the age categories too. I mean, the young guys, like we're saying, Dvorsky, we're saying Bedard, haven't been at the expectations we want, but they're also the youngest.
Yeah, you can't forget that he's 17.
Yeah.
And you can see have some experience in NHL. You can see have a step over everybody. Dvorak is awesome. I agree with you. Look, I like Dvorak too. Look, I see Dvorak as a hard worker. I got something about this one over there. So you bother checking out. Guys, thanks so for a great show. Thank you, Mark, to be with us. Anything to add? We at right now, maybe time to go to the Frenchy quiz. You anything you want to add some here right now or ready to rock and roll?
Let's do
Ready to rock, man. Yeah.
All right. That was a great show so far. So it's good to, I think, turn around to be good. About this one over there. So tonight, it's because we are the Let's Talk HABS. So let's see what we have here. And talking about the Montreal Canadiens. 5 questions tonight. Oh, my God! And they are not easy. Some of them are not easy. Some will be easier for some of you. But some of them, we'll cheer a little bit more now. Here we go. From this list, which one has the most points with the Montreal Canadiens? Mark Tardif, Chris Higgins, Shea Weber, Thomas Tatar, and Silvio Manta. Who has the most points in NHL? Like I said, it's never easy. Nicolas got you. First to answer tonight. RJ got you. Blackhawks 97, I got you. Sada, I got you. We have Zenit Gammon participate on that one over there. Don't forget, guys, click on the like. Kilo, we got you. And Luke Laverson, I got you. Luke doing well this week on the tournament, guys, so far. Great week for him. Run with Kings 20. Danny T got you. Mr. ENORTAP, Pierre Martin, I got you.
Oh boy. I'm going to go with
Nooner, I got you.
it's a tough one. That
Real
is
deal,
tough.
Brim, I got you. Here we go. Mr. Notap.
Let's go with
Lucky, I got you.
Mark Tardif. A.
Joseph, go with Mark Tardif. You go with Mark Tardif. Mr. Notap,
Yeah.
thank you.
So for those of you who didn't tune in yesterday, we had it was an E kind of night last night, or it was or D. Sorry, a lot of D's. So I'm tempted to go with the guy I've never heard of, which is Silvio Manta. Never heard of him. So that seems like a very coachy thing to do. But it's definitely not Chris Higgins. I hope not. I'm gonna go with Mark Tardif as well.
Super chat.
Oh, super chat, the Zenit Gamer, here we go! A super chat of the night, the first one. Chop, 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 Rivers! Zenit Gamer, super chat. He did it again, Zenit Gamer, super chat of the night. Thanks so much, some hype somewhere. And we got some hype for Mr. Zenit. Congratulations about this one over there. Yann Genet, welcome back in the house. Randy N, welcome back in the house. And Mr. K, welcome back in the house. And the answer this one, ladies and gentlemen, is... oh my God! It's A. We have ENORTAP, MARKO, Joseph, Luc Lafortune, Zenit Gaming take the lead at that moment over there. T'as rien manqué, Yann, about this one over there. Congratulations, the winner of this one.
Is Silvio Manta a real person?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds familiar, but I don't know him.
How many shortened goal Montreal Canadiens and their franchise so far? 354, 372, 402, 422, 444. How many goals shortened the Montreal Canadiens did and since 1917 until this season? Good luck, everybody. Yes, mon Yann, t'as revu de justesse, mon homme. Zenit, I got you. Blackhawks, I got you. RJ, I got you. Michel, revenu avec mon nom. Pas de problème, mon Michel. Ron, Danny, Yann Genet. We have Nooner, Solar, Kilo, Pierre Martin, Luc Lafortune. Did we start the clock or not?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
That's all right. Joseph, got you.
That's probably why I felt like less anxious.
Exactly.
Here we go, Mr. The two is wild, Luc Lafortune. RDP, I got you. Marco.
Yeah, so this is going to be just a total guess here. So I'll go with a theory, which is coach knows that I like Stéphane Richer, and there's like 444. He's trying to lure me into choosing E because it's like a Stéphane Richer kind of number. So I'm not going to fall for that trap and go for the one just before that and go 422D.
All right, thanks so much.
Logical.
Michel Larabie, I got you.
Thing.
RDP, I got you. Luciano Graziano, I got you. And Mr. K, thanks so much to be with us tonight. Mr. Nortap, are you going to go 2-2 tonight?
Interesting theory there, Marco.
Or maybe with Marco?
I think it's lower. I'm debating between B and C right now. I'm going to go with B.
C?
No, B.
B. 372.
Every time coach does that, I pick the wrong one.
When he does that, you can see. See, are you sure? See?
See?
Oh my God!
See?
And we have right now, guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's front player with a one good answer. Yann Blackhawks, Pierre Martin, and Michel Larabie score a goal right there. Congratulations about this one over there.
Marco,
Question number 3 of 5. How many players play over 10 years and more with the Montreal Canadiens? Only forward. Does not include a goaltender. 42, 52, 62, 72, 82. I apologize when I say forward, it's skater. So defenseman and
okay.
all right, and forward together. So I apologize, should be skater. They have 852 players, by the way. But that's a subject for another question at a time. 42, 52, 62, 72, 82. Now we stay in the 2 frame. Here we go. RJ, Zenit, Ron, Blackhawks.
800. Wow, those numbers seem high.
Yeah, like my thinking on this one is
I'm
Montreal
80 games.
Back in the day, or so
Lunar,
players that played
Kilo,
over 10 years.
Yann Genet.
So Montreal kind of had a reputation. They were the original Vegas Knights.
Michel,
they didn't allow
Salah, Danny,
people to retire
Martin.
with them.
Yeah.
Here we
So
go.
it's gonna be
Mr.
low.
ENORTAP, one time you can start in thinking and give us your 2 good answer. And 1 wrong, 1 good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was until Marco said that I was thinking, okay, 80 games, 10 years. We're looking at about 800 games, and there aren't too many. But some of those years were really short. So they could be as much as.
I got
go-
Pierre Martin, Réal, Nicolas, Lucky, Noner, Luc Lafortune.
I think it's between B and C. I'm going to go with C.
All right. And Mr. Marco.
See? No, I'm going to go. So, because this is, again, kind of a pure guess,
Yep.
most decisions that I make in my life, I make on, and most of my passwords are HABS numbers. So, says it's between Craig Rivet and Lehkonen. So I'll go with Rivet on this one.
With
B, Craig Rivet, 52.
and Mr.
C?
ENORTAP's B,
C?
and Mr. ENORTAP says C because he wants to take B and he think he was right about this one over there. But no, Mr. ENORTAP, again, you wrote it wrong.
Come on, I should be getting half points here.
And on that one, Zenit, Luc Lafortune, Marco, Yann Genet take the lead at 2. And we have to add a point to Run with King with Noner, Real Deal, and Luciano Graziano take the lead also with 1 point. And question number 4 of the day. Easier now. It's getting easier.
Famous last words.
Which duo has the most plus and the plus and minus category? If you put both together, which one do you believe has the most plus together? Lambert, Nierap, Provo, Talbot, Chelios, Carbono, Napier, Nasloon, Riceborough, Scrutland. Good luck, everybody.
Oh,
Who has the most plus together as a duo and the career? Here we go. RJ, Danny, Round with Kings, Blackhawks, Nicolas, Yann Genet. Thank you. Michel Larabie, thank you. Nooner, Blackhawks, Real Deal, Salah. Pierre Martin, Luc Lafortune. And time to give up to Marco.
Whew. So on this one, you imagine it's going to be players that were in eras that there was more goals scored. So I lean away from those 80s teams because there was less goals scored than the 70s. Or those teams were more defensive too, right? So kind of like remember Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You were allowed to use a lifeline. Since my brother's on the chat, I will use a lifeline on this one.
He took
And
A.
I saw that my brother took A, so at least if I'm publicly embarrassed, I can share that with him. So we'll go A.
Awesome. Joseph, Zenit, Luc Lafortune, Pierre-Martin, I got you. And Mr. Nortap, what is your two good answer?
Yeah, you made this very sneaky because I think Scrudland's up there, but the best combination.
He played a lot of defensive lines, though.
Yeah, he did. He
played with McPhee and Lemieux mostly, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of points there.
But I don't think Riseborough was up there. That's the problem with E. So it's either B or C. I'm going to go with B.
A?
Provo and Talbot.
The answer, Mr. Nortap, nail it with D. Congratulations, Mr. Enartap. Enartap, I need to give you another point. I gave him 2 with Zenit, Luc Lafortune, Marco are all at 2, but Yann Gionnet is at 3, and Ron King, Nooner, Luciano Graziano are at 2, and Kelly scored 1 goal on that one. Congratulations. One more to go. Yann Gionnet, you're going to win alone or win with someone? It all depends on your last question. Let's go with this one. Last question of the night. Let's go with 5. It's going to be easy, this one, for everybody. I feel it. How many Canadian coaches, 28 of them, did not participate to the playoffs during their career with the Montreal Canadiens? 7. Under, over, or exact? That's open the door, guys, to give us a very easy answer on that one. Danny, I got you. Blackhawks, I got you. RJ, I got you. Kelly, I got you. Nicolas, I got you. Blackhawks, I got you. Solar, I got you. Michel, Larabie, I got you. Luc Lafortune, I got you. Yann Gionnet, I got you. Zenit, I got you. Real Del Brim, I got you. Noner, got you.
Can I ask
and
a question?
Pierre Martin, I got you. And Mr. Enartap.
Wait, what's your question, Marco?
I'll ask my question after you answer because I don't want to.
No, come on, it might help.
Okay. Well, here's the question. Like, if there were 2 coaches that were coaching the same team that made the playoffs, would that, with both coaches count?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say exact.
Exact for Enartap.
So I'm going to call this the Randy Cunneyworth loophole because there was that one year where he replaced them right at the end of the year. I will go under.
Under. Here we go. Yann Gionnet said C. If he's right, it's over.
It's over. So
if it's not C, it's B or A. Some of you can tie the game. And oh my God! Can you do that or not? We'll see what's happening. And yes, the answer is A. And Yann Gionnet is the winner with Marco Larabie and Ron with Kings with 3 good answers. Kelly, she was 2-2. She came late in the game. But we have other people have a good performance overall. 17 people have a 1 good answer. If you 05, you're one of them did not get it. But congratulations, Marco and Ron with King and Yann Gionnet are the winner of the contest of Frenchy quiz tonight on the Let's Tab. Let's talk HABS. Tomorrow we are back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. And honestly, I don't know what will be the subject yet. But I want to mention to you next Saturday, it's about the Let's Talk HABS. It's going to be a lot of QA session inside that show next week. So it's going to be the last one for me in USA territory. So, and we're going to give you some what's coming year number 3. We don't give you everything, but we're going to give you some what's coming for that one. We're going to teasing you a little bit what's coming next year and who's coming with part of the show, everything like that. So next Saturday night, let's talk abs. We're going to find a subject for sure. But we appreciate everybody in the chat tonight. Great performance, everybody.
Yes.
I think it was fun. The subject was still on the top point. The pool was great, I think, overall.
Very good.
But again, without the insider like ENORTAP and MARKO, this will be impossible. So we want to thank both of you tonight for your participation at the Let's Talk Abs special edition summertime. But we want to thank each one of you in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
Here we go, everybody. This is another complete of the Let's Talk Abs with MARKO, LARABIE, ENORTAP, and FRENCHY. Until the next time, we want to remind everybody, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate your second half. Or what, Mr. ENORTAP?
You're 2022.
Here we go. Have an amazing, great night, sweet dream, great Monday, fun day, and of course, we love you people. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you, and MARKO and ENORTAP.
Good night,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Luc, Salah, Zenith, Yann, Luke, congratulations, Yann, for your win tonight. Blackhawks, Nicolas, RJ, Captain, Danny T, moderator with assistant captain Jose Duarte tonight. I know Danny was alone. That's all right. Kelly, great job tonight at 2 and 2. RTP, deal or no deal? Welcome back. Round weekend, congratulations. Thank you, Mr. ENORTAP. Blackhawks fan, until the next time. We'll see you next time. Donor, Michel LARABIE, Joseph, Pierre Martin, Luciano Graziano. I know, Danny, right? Danny, you can handle everything by yourself. You're the man. You're the captain. That's why. You're the captain. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy your Sunday fun day.